One. Good evening, Porrick.
Good evening, Agna. How are you?
I'm great. Tonight we have a few people already there, so we'll have a small chit chat before everyone else joins in. But thank you for accepting the invitation. I know we had a conversation with Colin first, planning to do the interview, and then there was like, "You do it, no, you do it." So it's great to have you here because a lot of people know you and a lot of people don't know you and don't know your story. And I think you have an amazing story to share. So it's going to be a brilliant conversation we're going to have any minute now. We'll just wait for a few
Okay.
more people to join in and I'll
Okay, no
share that
problem.
as well. So anyone who's watching us, guys, make sure you say hi. And if you have any questions, post the questions in the comments, and I'll keep an eye on them and try to answer them. And if you're rejoining in, hold on, I'll just check make working. Yeah, we're live. Okay,
Okay.
so at least that's perfect.
Can people actually see me and you now?
They can, yeah, yeah.
And
I
are
will
they
just check.
watching that on Facebook?
They're watching that on Facebook, yeah. So you
I
can
really
say
need to
hi
get
to
the
the
grips. I need
Facebook.
to get the grips with this technology, seriously.
The groups. Colin is there, your other interviewer.
All right, okay.
Okay, so
Man, Colin.
because a few people already joined in, and I like to start things on time. It's already 4 minutes past 8, so hopefully more of you are gonna pop in to listen to this conversation. But here it is, Mr. Padraig O'Hara, our one of the great, amazing leaders in Ireland, and a huge inspiration, huge motivator for so many people, not only in Ireland but all around the world. I know a lot of people know you from Germany and from being on stage. So you're kind of the one there with your face in front of many people. So that's not a new thing for you to be talking. I know it's a different kind of technology, but it's not a new not a new thing for you to be talking to many people. So yes, Padraig
Yeah.
O'Hara, he's been in the business True Health with an Enagic company for quite a few years, and I will start this by if you could give us a little bit of a background. How did you join the company? How did you join the company? Who introduced you to the company, and what was your initial reaction to that? Just a little bit of a background.
Okay, well, I suppose the first bit is how did I join the company? I joined the company, I think, like most people. Somebody gave me a call, a good friend of mine, John Hughes, and I was kind of in the health and wellness business. And he said, "Look, I've seen something. It's about water, and I'd like you to have a look at it." And I knew John from a furniture background. So I was intrigued to go, firstly, what does this fella know about water? But more importantly, how has he got involved in it? And he seemed quite passionate and excited about it. And I went, okay, well, maybe I'll go and have a look at this. So John came over, did a presentation to me, and I certainly got the message from a health perspective. I had absolutely no interest in the business. I had no time. Um, I really was busy with life doing what I was doing. I had my own plans and goals in place at the time. And I just said, look, John, thank you very much, but not for me. Got the product, used the product, found a lot of benefit from it. Bit of a funny story actually. When I bought the unit, honestly 501, um, and I remember coming home to my partner Jill saying, "Oh, got this great water machine, it's fantastic." And sure, I started telling her about different colors and tests and of what I didn't know about water. And she said, that's great, but we traditionally every Friday had bought whatever, a dozen bottles of Evian water. And Jill said, that's fine, Porrick. Just as a matter of it, it's like, it sounds like a filter. And I said, no, 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 you've got it wrong. It's not a filter. I said, you don't get filters for like €2,500. And she said, excuse me? And when she heard the price, she went, well, I'm glad you've bought yourself a little toy, but you can keep that in the office because it won't be coming into this house.
Oh
Cut a long
my God,
story,
really?
yeah. So she was like completely against it, going, don't know what you've done, you're just a crazy man, and we can't afford to spend money like that on, on a filter machine. You'd be better off, why don't you save it? We could go on a holiday or change my car. Anyways, um, Jill's sister worked in reception, and we had a guy in the office. Nabindu Das Gupta was his name, and he had type 2 diabetes. He was drinking the water, and every weekend, because I wasn't allowed to bring the machine home, um, I brought home my drums of water. And one weekend I went in, and Jill's, as I said, sister worked in reception. I went in looking for my machine to get my water for the weekend. It was gone. And I went, if that Nabindu Das Gupta has taken that machine, he's gone on Monday as well. I'm going to fire him. And this is the truth. So I was fuming, no water for the weekend. Here's me preaching about this water to Jill, and now I've come home with her water. And I'm going, yeah. Anyways, got in home, and what's sitting on my counter? Only my lovely SD501. And I said, sorry, I've just said I'm going to sack somebody in my business because I thought they took it away for the weekend. Behind the scenes, she was getting her sister to bring her over water, and she was trying it, and she kind of said, look, I think this water is very good. Uh, and maybe we can house. And I said, what are we going to do about the office? And she worried about that. You can just get another one for the office, but this one stays in the house. That's how the machine got into my house. And then over that period of time, John, who had sold it to me, said, look, if you know anybody who'd be interested, please put them in touch with me. And literally a lady came into a cook school I was doing one evening. She said, is that a Kangen machine? And I said, it is. And I put her in touch with John, sold her a machine and a few of her friends a machine. And within, I don't know, 3 months, John said, look, can you give me your bank account details? I have the money back for your machine. And I went, you better come and explain the business to me, which he did. And I went, right, this is not like my business. It's not like a traditional business. I need to know more. And that's really what got me involved in the business. I then sat down with John, and John remembers this well. He explained the business to me, and I just didn't get it. I saw all these squares and lines and 1As and 2As and 9.5, 11.5, 2.5. I'm going, how in the name of God is anybody going to understand this business? So I said, look, I'm not silly, but I just don't get this. So I said, is there anybody else who can explain it to me? And he says, well, there's a Japanese fella. He's in Germany. He can explain it to you. He's in London 2 weeks' time. And I went, right, we'll try that. So I flew to London 2 weeks later, went to a presentation in the Hilton in London. And a guy called Tomokiyashi came, and he explained the business. And I went, right, I've got this. This is a supermodel. If this can work, I'm in. And I came back and kind of made the commitment to get started, and that was it.
Brilliant. So you had a kind of you eased into the business. It came very naturally to you, didn't it?
Um, when you say it came very natural to me, what do you mean by it came
I
natural to me? Selling?
like yeah, well, I mean that you've got quite a few sales organically, without hard work as such. It wasn't like, okay, well, I'm gonna be approaching that and that people. I need to get 5 sales, 2 sales, become a 2A, whatever. You've got a first few sales very naturally.
Yeah, I mean, if the truth be known, Agna, I had no idea what I was building. I really didn't understand this business. And as I said, not that I'm stupid, but I just didn't get it all. Like I'm going, John was saying, oh, there's this level, it was the pH of the water, the 2.5, 9.5, all of that. Then there was the 1A, 6A thing. Then there was the SP bonus. Then there was the different machines. Then there was the different point value in each machine. Then there was 8 points, 4 points, and you get all the points. And I went, this sounds like a game of pinball. Then he was talking about 6A, 6A2, and you get a world bonus, and sure, it's all done. There you go. That's the business. And I went, what? So I kind of went, look, why don't I just get out there and share it and see how we get on? And just over 4 years later, I kind of this concept of 6A23 was this idea of having financial freedom, which appealed to me. And obviously, financial freedom means different things to different people, but it appealed to me. And I kind of looked around Europe, and it looked like there was a time frame of maybe 5 years to do it. And that was really my goal. So I was setting a goal, but honestly, this is not what you do when you set goals. Was I absolutely clear on my path? No. But had I got that belief and that I put it out in the universe, and then I went to work. And I suppose what's the one thing I did? I never stopped working. I never stopped talking to people. I never stopped, you know, doing what felt good for me.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the truth as to how I got involved in the business. So anybody that's out there that's listening, um, it doesn't really have an idea. You have to have a plan, goal. You have to do it in a certain time frame. No, you don't. Um, but as you evolve, it's like anything. As you learn, you get a little bit better. And what's the most important thing? I think the most important thing is you. It's the individual. It's belief in yourself. It's working on you. It's personal development.
Yes.
Um, when I came in here, then I got into the business, and you get to a rank of maybe 4A. I didn't know this at the time, but once you get to the 4A, I think something like 80% of all 4As become 6As, or 90% of all 4As become
95.
6As. And
I've heard
yeah,
Tamia was saying
that's a,
last week, 95%.
yeah,
Yes. Yes.
yeah, yeah. So it's a high statistic, and I go, I wonder why. And I think the reason why is you can get to 2A and 3A by selling some machines to friends and family. To get to 4A, maybe you've got to help somebody else. And once you understand that your success is built on relationships, and you're not going to get on with everybody, and everybody's not going to see eye to eye to you. But if you're open to engaging with people and finding out what's their interest or what's their why, um, then I think what you've got is an opportunity to build something. Whether you take that opportunity and run with it or not is up to you. But I I suppose I came to the table going, why not me? That was really it. I was going, why can't I be successful in this business? And there were a few basic rules that I apply to my business, but rule number one has always been that consistency, that enthusiasm. And you've got to work on yourself. You work on yourself every day. You learn something new every day.
Yes.
Um, and that's how I suppose, grown and evolved in the business.
Well, I think that with your enthusiasm, everyone can feel your enthusiasm. That's definitely kind of glowing out from you. So you've got that one nailed. There is a
Yeah,
comment there, Colin, that he can only see a top of your head. If you can just maybe put the screen a little bit down, because we don't
down.
see
Do we
your full
mean
head.
that way? That
Yeah,
way?
perfect. Yeah,
Okay, so let
because
me
you're
put
just
something.
leaning
Hang
on
on.
your chair too comfortably.
Yeah, okay, cool. How's that?
Yeah, perfect.
That work? Okay, cool.
Yeah, so your enthusiasm is definitely there. I do know you, I think, almost 2 years now, and you're always like upbeat and enthusiastic and full of energy. And that when that shows, when that comes out from you, whenever you talk to people, obviously that's a different conversation you can have. So it's important that positivity, enthusiasm, your energy. You kind of need that when you're talking and creating the relationship with other people. That's very important.
I think anything in life. I think that goes with anything in life. If you've got a passion for what you're doing, and if you believe in it, that comes across. And if you don't, logic is one thing. We can all sit and see anything. You can look at any product. You can look at any opportunity and go, logically, that makes sense. But
Yeah.
if you don't have an enthusiasm and a passion for it, then maybe it's not for you. And maybe you need to go and find something that you're passionate about. I don't say to people that this is the only game in town. I don't say to people this is the only opportunity. But
Yeah.
I go, take a good look at it. And if you can find me a better one, then great. And to date, in 4.5 odd years, nobody has come to me with a better opportunity. Nobody has come to me
Yeah.
with a better product. And I go, so the product is rock solid. The opportunity is great. Then what's there not to get enthusiastic about? I'm starting to realize goals that I never thought, honestly. I mean, people may say, oh, maybe you're confident and maybe you're outgoing. So, maybe you were always going to be a 6A or a 6A2 or whatever. And I go, no. Um, every individual out there has a control tower, and that control tower controls what you think about yourself.
Mm.
And if I stayed in the place that I was in when I came into the business, I wouldn't be the person I am today. There is
Yeah.
so much work you've got to do on personal development and learning about yourself. And people go, well, where do you go to learn about yourself? And I go, well, pick up a book and maybe read a little bit. Go and talk to people. Um, you know, I keep saying this, we're constantly learning. One of my heroes is Richard Branson.
Mm.
And I went to a conference in Dublin with him. And and in the entire conference, I wrote a couple of notes. And, I go back to them time and time again. And I know before I even open these notes, the first thing has to do with passion. But this is one of the most successful people in the world. This is what he uses. Okay. So he goes, you need to have infectious enthusiasm. And Richard Branson is one of those guys. He has an infectious enthusiasm. And he goes, if you don't have that, you know, you're going to find it very, very difficult when you come across the tough times. Because it doesn't matter
Mm.
what business you're involved in, you're going to come across tough times. You're going to come across stumbling blocks. You're going to come across challenges. And what will keep you going is that level of enthusiasm, that level of belief that what you're doing is the right thing. Um,
Yeah.
the next thing he says is give your team the tools to do a great job. And it's one of the things that I've been trying to do is to try and create some tools for people to do a great job. One of the challenges of that is I create the tools that I think are good for me, and maybe I don't create the tools that are good for everybody else. And that's something that I'm now starting to learn to go, well, maybe I should be asking people, we've got some good tools in our business to go out and do a, pretty good presentation, but is that everything? No, it's not. We need to ask people if those tools are working for them, and those that they're working for great, those that aren't, maybe engage those people a little more, um,
Yeah.
and be a bit more flexible. So yeah, so there you go. Back to I suppose my hero would be Richard Branson, and he talks about enthusiasm, and I'm going and I now talk about it more and more. I go, you can plan all day long, you can have the best product in the world, but if you don't have an infectious enthusiasm to get out there and talk about it, a bit like the passion you have, if you've got a family and you've got kids, and I was over in England. My sister has a young boy, age 5, and it was his, school sports day.
Yeah.
And he's not the best kid in the park. He wasn't the best athlete in the park. But my God, when I was looking at my sister and her husband, when he was running, they were like kicking and screaming, thinking he was great. And I was 7 or 8 in the race, and I was going, lads, I don't really know what you're getting all excited about. He's only in 7th place. But there was an infectious enthusiasm with the parents, and it wasn't about winning the race. It was about this is our son, and we're passionate about him, and we're comfortable expressing that passion. And I'm going, that's what we need more of. That's what people need. They need to get passionate about it. And I don't know what it takes. You find the story that's going to help other people. You find what you're comfortable with in communicating with other people. That's what's important. And, that sincerity, that enthusiasm cuts through all the other stuff, cuts through all the science, cuts through all the objections. That's what I believe. makes a difference in the business.
Yeah. Well, I've seen recently a very great picture talking about that, kind of celebrating no matter if it is a win or not a win. I've seen it was a picture of the pianist, like someone in the competition, number 1, 2, and number 3, and the one that the guy, a child standing on the number 1, got the gold medal, and he's looking to the others like pretty sad, and the one on the number 3, he was like, yay, like he is the biggest winner ever, because for him it's not about, for him, he was a winner for himself, and he was celebrating, and there are so many people out there standing on the top, and he was like, no enthusiasm, no happiness, no positivity. And some people are kind of down the line, and they're enthusiastic and excited. So
Yeah, and I think it comes back to this control tower I was talking about. Your control tower absolutely controls you and where you're going to go in life. And sometimes that control tower says, sorry, who do you think you are going to be a 6823? Or who do you think you are going to go on stage? Or who do you think you are earning 100,000 a year or 200,000 a year? You're not one of those. So as soon as you start to get close to it, the control tower goes, hold on a sec, Padraig. Just remember who you are. You're not one of those people. You don't drive that fancy car. You're not going to have that big house. Who do you think you are? And that's the point that I think we can lose an awful lot of people, even when they come into the business at the start. Their control tower says, but you're not like him or you're not like her. So you don't be thinking you can go out there and do this business because you haven't done it before. So
yeah.
what do you think? What do you think you're going to do? And that can have a massive impact on people. That control tower has a huge impact on children and has a bigger impact, I believe, on adults.
I think so. I
Um,
think it gets stronger and stronger because we had this conversation with my leader, Adeline and Colin, and my husband recently, and we were talking about how sometimes we feel like fraud. You're doing all these things are happening, and it's like, oh my God, someone is actually going to come and see that I'm just being fraud. And I'm, like you feel fraud for yourself, that how come all these things are like, I've got successful there and there. Just someone is gonna figure out that I'm just fraudulent, but you're not. You're doing all the it's all the with the sincerity, and it's all with the integrity and everything. But it just, you feel to yourself as fraud sometimes. How come that success just happened to me? How come I've got that or got there? How come I've got yeah, it's interesting, isn't it?
I think the other bit too is that control tower. When I talk about a control tower, I mean it's the bit that sends out the signal that keeps you where you are. And sometimes that can be other people. You decide to get involved in another business, and people go, oh, what are you involved in now? Oh, this is going to be the next latest, greatest thing, is it? Oh, yeah, just like the last thing you did that you have a garage full of, or that you whatever. And that knocks your confidence. Or even if
Yeah.
you're starting for the first time, that control tower, when somebody reminds you of who you were or who you should be, in their opinion, you kind of go, yeah, maybe they're right. What am I doing? I'm going to look like a fool here. And that's when you need to surround yourself who will encourage you and motivate you. And I suppose one of the significant things I've seen in this business, I've seen incredible people grow. I've seen people have short-term success and then come across some roadblocks and can't get over them. I've seen other people struggle to get started, but they stuck with it no matter what, and then ultimately had success. So I've seen a whole myriad and variety of people. And at every point in this business, there are roadblocks. And the roadblock could be a 2A,
Yeah.
3A, 4A. It could even be 6A23 that your roadblock hits. That it goes, well, you've got here. Now, don't think you're going any further. And the question is, can you identify what those roadblocks are and can you overcome them? And how do you overcome them? Um, and recently, I was having a chat with a guy. Um, he was, believe it or not, he was the head, Brian Murphy. He's the head of BDO. They're a big accountancy firm in Europe. And we were talking, I was in doing a presentation and they're talking about, wellness in the workplace, and they're going to put some machines in for their staff, and it's a lovely thing to do. But we were talking about how to get out there and market your business. And he got very offended because BDO are a big organization and people kind of, you would think, come to them. So he went out based
Yeah.
on a referral to a client and he starts talking to the client. And he said, this is what BDO can bring to you, and this is how perhaps they can help you with your business and impact on your business. And your man turned around and said, well, sure, why should I pick you? You know, I'm sure there's other companies out there that I can have a look at. And he felt completely insulted. And he stopped your man and he said, hold on a second. He said, I'm not selling anything here. I don't sell. I'm just sharing with you the benefits of our business. But he went away from that, not having had a successful meeting. And it was the first time in his life that he said, I never realized that I am actually selling and that I should be able to sit up straight and go, I'm very proud of my company. And here's what differentiates us from other companies. And to have that pride and have that conviction and have that enthusiasm, back to enthusiasm again, about his
Yeah.
product. And he said, you know, you have an enthusiasm about your product. And I go, it only comes from what I've seen the product do for other people. So I was using the analogy, you know, what's this business like? What skill sets do you need to build a successful business? And I go, well, the first thing you need to do is look at yourself and go, you know, are you inherently a good person? And most people are.
Mm.
Secondly, if you use the analogy of sowing seeds, there's a piece in the Bible about talking about sowing seeds, and it talks about the first thing you need to have is good seed. Okay,
Yeah.
and I go, if we look at our company and we look at the philosophy of our company, they talk about we'd like to help you with your physical health. So we're going to give you a suite of products to allow you to become as healthy as you want to be. I've tried those products and I'm healthier at 54 than I was at 44. So I've taken control of my health as a result of Enagic. And I go, thank you very much for doing that. Second thing is true financial health for different people means different things. You know, today it may mean for somebody an extra 500 or 1,000 euro a month. And if that's what they want, then they can achieve that in this business. For somebody else, it could be 1,000 euro a week because they're in debt. And the one thing that the companies say is it doesn't matter what it is, what the number is. You can build your business to whatever level you need to build it to generate that income that you need. And then thirdly, they go, so if you're taking control of your own physical health, if you're improving your financial health, then that ultimately has an impact on our relationships and on the stress levels in our lives. And I go, you put all those three together, it's a little combination. Um, so I look at this business and I go, really, all I've done is I've had good seed because that's the philosophy of the company,
Yeah.
and I know their product works. So now I go and I scatter the seed,
Yeah.
and some of that seed falls on a path, you know, and seed that falls on a path um, eventually gets taken away by the birds. You know, the birds get the seed that's on the path. And
Yeah.
you go, you know, it's a bit like you go out and you meet somebody and you're very enthusiastic and you go, this is great. And oh God, I think you'd be super. Oh, I can't wait to get you on my team and help you. And you say, right, we've got something happening Thursday night. You're going to come along. And they say, yeah, yeah, I'll be there Thursday night. And they don't turn up. And you
How
go,
many times did you have
well,
that?
a lot, a lot.
Yeah.
But you go, all you can do is go, well, it must have been the birds that got them. Now, you have two options. You can go start chasing the birds, which is going to take you out of the field, or you can go, that's just where the seed fell. There was
Yeah.
nothing wrong with the seed, just the birds got it. And then you get some of the seed falls kind of on the rocky outcrop, and it starts to show little, you know, show these little shoots, little green shoots, and you go, oh, here we go. He's in. He's actually got his ID number. He's turned up the first night and he's going to do the devil and all. He says he's going to be a 6A, 6A23, and you're going, oh my God, if he just becomes a 6A, I'll be a 6A, and that'll all be great. And you go, it's all over. I don't have to go to work. And then you turn up the next week and he doesn't turn up or she doesn't turn up. And you go, well, that's the seed that fell on the root crop because they met somebody during the week who they tried to explain the business to their new opportunity, and their friend said, "You're not doing that. That sounds like multi-level marketing, or that sounds like one of those foreign things. I
Pyramid,
wouldn't be doing that now if I were you." Huh? The
pyramid scheme.
what?
That's the one I
Oh
get.
yeah, that must be a pyramid. Jay, do yourself a favor, get out of that. And your man goes, control tower. Oh, my friend thinks I'm doing something that isn't right. I better get out of here because I can't go down to the pub on Friday night and be slagged. So they're gone. And you go, that's the seed that fell on the rocky outcrop.
Yeah,
And then some seed falls on fertile land.
yeah,
And that starts to grow. And some of it because grows, 6 inches high, and some of it grows 6 feet high.
yeah.
And you go, what happened to seed that only grew 6 inches high? And you go, some of the seed falls on fertile land, and it depends on the individual, and it depends on what they want and where they want to go. And that's kind of life. That's our business. We have a good seed, and we just have to be very confident in sowing that seed and realizing that the birds are going to get some of it.
And
And when the
probably,
birds get some of it, you go, fair enough. That's the way it works.
and probably not assuming and not kind of judging, or how should I say it? Because I know from my experience from with Enagic for the almost 2.5 years now, a lot of the people that I expected are gonna be amazing do nothing. And the people who I thought, well, that's just gonna be, thank God they bought a machine, and then they start selling. So we prejudge all the time, and actually, that's only this thing working. We don't know
Control
what
heart.
we'll be doing. Yeah,
Listen, if I had the ability to pick the people who could be hugely successful, you look at them and you go, oh, they look good, they sound good, they're very confident. You go, they'll be the person. And then you get this fella sitting in the corner and he's picking his nose and he could do with, having a good shower. And you go, right, I don't think that fella's going to go too far. And then you turn up at Germany to the European conference and he's up on stage getting an award for 5 grand. And you go, oh my God, how stupid do I feel? I'm better than him. I should be there. How did he get there? And really, all he did was, and this is the moral of the seed story, by the way, never, ever stop sowing the seed.
yeah. Colin
That's the
commented as well, saying,
business.
yeah, if you sow enough good seeds, you will find good people sooner or later. That's what Colin
That
said as well. Yeah,
this is a fact. It is absolutely impossible to fail in our business if you're sowing good seed. And by the way, the only person that will give up is you. I look at the people in my organization and I go, let me tell you something. You're going to give up on you before I will. Because we see the potential in somebody. And sometimes you go, God, I want to shake you. Do you understand the potential that you have? And you have to be very careful sometimes because that can be attritional.
yeah,
And, I know that even though I'm going to become a 6823 and I'll go on to be 6824 and hopefully I'll continue on and continue, I still make mistakes today. I'm human. Sometimes I sow seed um, and I sow it kind of without even thinking about where I'm throwing the seed. I just go, oh, look, I have to sow a bit of seed today. I'll just throw it out here. I threw my seed out. And I go, did I really engage with the person? Did I listen to them? Did I talk to them? Or did I prejudge them? And at the sign of a first objection, it's like doing a demo. You get the first objection and you go, oh, I'm in for a difficult one here. Then you get the second objection. You go, I could actually be at home tonight having a nice glass of wine. Do you understand? I've taken my night off to come here and do a present. The least you could do is be a bit enthusiastic and sit down and be quiet and don't be giving me any silly objections. And I just go, you have to laugh at that and go, that's part and parcel of what we do. You
yeah.
know, um, you come out of those situations and sometimes you go, oh my God, that was terrible. And other times you come out and go, actually, I'm going to have a bit of a laugh. And you really have to take a look at this is life. Everybody isn't going to say yes. So it's how you react to them. And, I've been in presentations where I've gone, please, God, set the fire alarm off, open the door, let the dog bite me. I just want to get out of here. And then all of a sudden, you do something in the presentation and you don't give up. You keep sowing the seed, and they go at the end and they go, how much is that one? And I go, that's the K8. That's 3,660 plus VAT. Yeah, is that the best one? Yeah. All right, I'll have that one then. And you go, oh my God, I could have given up at any point.
Yeah.
So, and it's the same in life. It's the same with business.
Yeah.
It's the same with anything that we do in life. And what do we teach our kids to do? When they're running the race, if I go back to my sister and her husband, the son is coming seventh. By the way, I forgot to tell you, there were only 8 kids in the race. But here's the bit. Here's the bit. He's running the race. He knows he's second last, but his parents are going, well, don't keep going. What does he do? He keeps going. He doesn't give up. Why? Because there's an infectious enthusiasm.
Mm.
So, you have to just have a laugh at it and go, sometimes, I know what I want to say about people, and I go, maybe it's just the birds got that one. And you go, that's okay. Don't blame them. Don't blame them. The birds could have got me, but they didn't.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I look at it. And then I suppose the next bit that I've learned, a huge lesson I've learned in this business is asking questions are really the answers. You
Yeah.
know,
Remember you
um,
recommended that book, Questions Are the Answers, guys. Anyone watching, Questions Are the Answers is one of the best
great
books.
book.
It's
Yeah,
amazing. You recommended
you,
that.
you apply it to life. I mean, sorry, let me give you a prime example. So this man that I was talking about, um, his friend had said to him, you don't mind me asking you, he said, why is health not a high priority for you? And he said, what do you mean? And he was trying to say to him that I don't think you're taking care of your health. And all of a sudden, your man kind of initially reacted to it, and then he went, you know what? Maybe health should become a priority. And this guy who introduced me to Brian and BDO said, look, I've come across a suite of products that allow you to take control of your health. Would you be open to have a look at them? And he said, yeah, I would. Maybe that's a good question to ask people,
Mm.
when you get into conversation. You don't need to start straight off. Let them talk first, let them at least say hello and what's the weather like, not how you doing, I've got something really amazing for you, wait, I tell you, great opportunity, and it's True Health, and we've got a great oh, you won't believe it. And you go, hang on, say hello, have a chat, and maybe you get to the point where you go, so how's life, have you ever thought about personal health goals? And they go, what? And you go, I was just wondering, have you ever thought about your health? And they go, no, why have you? And you go, well, I didn't, but now I have. Um, and it's how you engage with people, and everybody's got to find their own way. You've got to be comfortable with the way you engage with people, and not everybody's going to like you. But be you, and like you said earlier, Agnes, be true to yourself, be honest, be genuine,
Yeah.
be sincere. You know.
I think that's very important. Um, oh, I lost my thought now. But yeah, so talking be true to yourself and try to figure out. That's definitely one thing that I'm working on for quite a while now, is how to find the way that works for me. Because then it's going to be truthful and then it's going to be genuine. Even though the company is amazing, the product is amazing. But if I'm trying to talk to people in the way that everyone else is uh, telling me to talk, or follow one way or the other, and it's not the way that feels natural to me, it's not going to come natural. It's just going to come very, very scripted. Yeah,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
it's
yeah.
very
I
important to
mean,
find a way.
yeah. The other thing and I suppose I don't read books cover to cover. I'm one of these lazy readers. I get in and I go to the end and I go, what was the summary? Yeah, grand. Find a couple of bits in there that appeal to me and go, right, that's enough for me. That's just me. It's the way sometimes I'll read a whole book, but invariably when it talks about helping yourself or self-help books, they're all kind of saying the same thing. You go back to Napoleon Hill, who was one of the original, um, Think and Grow Rich, probably one of the best books ever written. And if you use that as your encyclopedia, you won't go too far wrong because everybody else has basically seen what he's done and copied it. And in my business, I'm looking at other people in my business who've had success, see what they do, see if it suits my personality, and then go and apply it. If it doesn't suit my personality, don't try and be somebody that you're not.
Yeah.
And everybody can have success. I've seen people get up on stage. I saw a fella get up on stage. This is a fact. I saw a fella get up on stage in Las Vegas, and he got an award of 6823. He was a cowboy. This is exactly what his words were. This was his inspirational words. He went, "Howdy, everybody. Even the cowboy is 6823. Thank you very much for the check." And off he went. And I went, "Wow."
I can do better than that.
But it also says this: I should be speaking to everybody
Yeah.
because I don't know the next person that I talk to. And sorry, I was relating to books there, and I was going, one thing I've just picked up recently, and I'm starting to use it a bit now. So at the end of my conversation with somebody, whether it's a presentation, whether it's a business meeting, whatever it is, I go, "So what would you like the next step to be, Agna?" And I zip it. And they tell me.
Mhm.
And if the next step is, "I'd like to try the product, I'd like to meet you again, I'd like to do some research," whatever they tell you, then you've got to act on that.
Yeah.
But I just think, sometimes you get to the end of the presentation, you get to the close, and you get that squeaky bum bit, where you go, "Oh, are they, aren't they, will they, won't they? Oh, I just hope they ask for the order form." Or, why doesn't she take her credit card out of her bag and just give it to me? Doesn't she know I'm selling it? And sometimes we haven't even asked the question. You know, have we asked the question? Have we gone, "So the obvious next step, I suppose, is to pick a model that's suitable for you.
Yeah.
Is that okay with you?" Or, "What's the next step?" And they go, "Well, I don't know. What's the next step?" And you go, "Well, why don't I show you the models and pick one?" I just think it's a great little word to put in there and to
Yeah.
constantly. So what's the next step? What's the next step? What should we be doing next here? And let them. They'll tell you.
Yeah.
They'll tell you.
Yeah, because whenever
Um,
we put the words in people's mouth, no one likes that, right? Whenever we're just like, yeah, so we should maybe just go for Kate. Yeah, it's an awesome machine. No one likes that.
yeah,
They want to make up their own mind and they want to kind of decide that they made
yeah,
the decision. Not you didn't make the decision for them. They made the decision.
yeah. And I understand that we have a product, and obviously we want people to invest in the product and get the benefits from the product.
Yeah.
But something that resonated with me as well was sometimes we want to sell the best model machine because we know we're going to get, extra points or extra commission on it. And I'm going, you have two ways of building this business. Two ways. You can sell yourself to a rank, so you can sell your way to a rank, or you can recruit your way to a rank.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I've built a reasonably successful business, but I've built it on a combination of sales and recruitment. But I now look at it and I go, all I'm interested with anybody I speak to is recruiting them. Is that a fire alarm at your end or my end?
Your end.
Okay. Yeah, okay, it's cool. It's not a fire.
Okay, so we have a few questions there. People asked me a few questions, so
Go.
I'll go through them. Yeah, we're
Yeah,
kind of going a lot. Hold on, where
okay.
was that? What were your biggest challenges when you started building your Enagic business?
Um,
What were the biggest challenges when you started building
the handling the rejection, not
Mm,
selling.
yeah,
Um, getting yourself ready to go and do a presentation, getting enthusiastic about it, hoping it's qualified, going out doing a really good presentation, and they say no, and taking that rejection personally, and maybe thinking I'm in the wrong business, and maybe thinking this doesn't work, and maybe thinking they're right. This is too much money for a machine, um,
mm,
and almost buying into what they were selling you. So my biggest challenge, I would say, in the business, and take that on to the next level, the recruitment. where you go out, you recruit somebody, you bring them in, maybe they don't have success, they don't apply themselves or whatever, and they go, this just, you sit down with them and go, what's going on? And they go, this isn't working. You told me this was a great business and it was blah, 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 and it's not working. And you go, maybe they're right. Maybe I can't recruit people. So dealing with rejection was the biggest bit for me. And understanding that that's a part of every day in my life. It's, but knowing that it's how I react to that rejection. It's not the rejection. It's not what happens to you in life. It's how you react to it. And I go, it's okay. It's actually okay to have a day where you go, this is shit. And I don't want Agna or Porrick or anybody to ring me and ask me, did I do a few demos this week, or how did I get on, or the presentation wasn't qualified properly. I just had a shit day. Right? I got up this morning and I put my left shoe on my right foot. And everybody I met, just they were negative. And I went and did a presentation. They said no. And then somebody else cancelled. And, I had a great presentation they were going to buy, and I was going to make 500 quid, and that was going to make my week. And that didn't happen either. And so I've had a shit day. So just leave me alone. And being on your own and, you know, questioning yourself and going back to that control tower to go, O'Hara, who do you think you are? This is what it's about. And it will bring you back. And understanding that failure is temporary. That's the bit. So yeah, my biggest challenge, I suppose, has been the rejection. Biggest challenge in the business.
Wow,
Somebody
that's
says to you, oh, I've gone online and there's lots of other companies out there and they're better and you're giving away these points and all that. And you start believing it because you don't feel good about yourself.
yeah.
And there, and those days you don't have, sorry, here's the reality. To everybody out there, you will not be successful in this business if you don't understand that that's part of your business. And what you need to learn is a skill as to how to handle that and accept it and go, it's the curveball that's been thrown at me today. And sometimes you go, you know, I wish you just didn't throw all those curveballs at me at one day. Could you just give me one on a good day and I'd handle it better? So give me the sale at the start of the day and then give me the 3 rejections. I'd be all right. You can fire that at me. But for God's sake, don't give me the 3 rejections and then ask me to go out at 8 o'clock and do a presentation. I'm
Yeah.
shot. And it's that bit of, what am I doing? I'm sowing seed. I know some of it's going to fall on the path. I know some of it's going to fall there, and I know some of it's going to fall in fertile land. Keep sowing the seed because I've got good seed.
Yeah.
So yeah,
You know
that's
what?
probably the biggest thing.
In Germany at the convention that we had in June, a lot of you know that I was super impressed by all the Romanians, and I was talking to a few of them. And one guy said a great thing to me. He says, "There's always going to be a sale. It's either you're going to sell that to them, or they're going to sell excuse to you. So it's always going to be a sale. So who's going to, And I was
Yeah,
like, my God, that's true. So it's always going to be a sale. It's either you're going to sell them, or they're going to sell you an excuse."
yeah, and really, if you go back to it, Agda, and we're not good at this. We're not good at this. We need to get better at it. Questions are the answers. You ask the questions, you'll get the answer. And don't be listening to say the next thing. I mean, I heard that a long time ago, and I thought what they meant was, right, so blah, 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 blah. I say my bit to you, and you give me an answer, and I go, yeah, yeah, but, and I'm on to the next thing. That's not listening. That's not asking
Yeah.
questions. It's sitting down and listening to the person and going, okay. And then going back to them saying, so what you're saying to me is, so that I understand it. Then they know you're listening. And there's skills that you learn in this business. And I don't know of any other business, I really don't, that we have such a quality of people, especially I'm very lucky in my organization, the quality of people I have. Because firstly, they keep me grounded. They don't let me, run away with myself. They'll give me the good, they'll give me the bad, they'll give me the ugly, they'll give me it all. And we realize that together as a team, if I can learn from them and they can learn from me, then what an incredible world we live in.
Yeah.
Because that's ultimately what we're about. We're learning about life, and it's too short to be doing shit that you don't enjoy. You know, um, I had heard this analogy of trading time for money, and that's what we're doing. And if you take a
Yeah.
look at your business and you go, how many hours did I spend last week, and what did I get for that? What return did I get for that investment? And if you go, well, I got zero, and I put 8 hours in, you go, okay, maybe I need to look at how I'm doing what I'm doing, because if I do it the same way next week and expect a different result, that's insanity. So the great
Mhm.
thing about this is there's someone you can go to go, look, this is what happened to me last week. And what you'll invariably find is somebody else will say, oh, you only had a week in it? I'll tell you, I had 4 weeks of that back to back. And you go, what? I can't do that. You get where I'm coming
Yeah, but
from. You've got to make it light and real.
but a lot of the times, again, we expect the results there and then. Like I don't know if you've heard that, but I had an experience recently last week that I've got a sale that was there for 18 months. We did a demo 18 months ago. So you could have been thinking
Wow.
that it was 1 week or another week I didn't get any results, but sometimes the results are coming much later. You cannot, all the work we're doing, it's still planting that seed. So even though we don't
Well,
see results there
that's a
and
prime
then,
example. That's a prime example of sowing the seed and also knowing there's a next step. What you're not in
yeah,
control of is when the next step takes place. You have
yeah,
to ask the question and let the customer tell you when the next step is. And we'd all love to go out and do every presentation, and you'd love the customer to go, right, let me just tell you something. Not only am I not buying it today, I'm never buying it, ever in my life. And the reason I'm not buying it is because you said this in your presentation to me, and I don't believe you, or I don't think you did a good enough presentation. I love if customers really honest. They go, why didn't you buy? Well, because I thought your presentation wasn't good. And I go, what? Well, you asked me. I didn't think your presentation was good. Why? Because you did a lot of talking and you didn't ask me. And I go, right, help me here. What should I have done? Thanks
mm,
very much. And
well,
then you go to another customer. You'd like the other customers to go kind of halfway through when they know they're going to buy it. You'd love them to stop and go, by the way, I'm just going to let you know something. Keep going, but I'm going to buy this at the end. You go, whoop-de-doo. That's not the
yeah,
world we live in. It's not the
yeah,
world we live in.
exactly.
Yeah.
Uh,
But yeah,
yeah, Colin, is follow up is the key. And Kim mentioned I had a sale 2 years. I first spoke to them, just stayed in touch. So yeah, follow up is the key, and we don't see the results right away. So even if we have a week or 2 or 3 with no results, the results are not. You cannot see them. It's like with the bamboo tree. Did you see that video? Your friend Henry shared that with me. It's about the bamboo tree, and did you see that? No, it's
no.
saying that the bamboo tree, you plant the seed and it's there. It only comes out 5 years later, and when it comes out, like it becomes a big tree in like a very few months, very very quickly. So in those 5 years, if you didn't water it, if you didn't do anything, if you didn't touch the ground around it, so then nothing would happen, right? You still have to be working even though you don't see those results. So yeah.
And the other
Okay.
thing, I think the other thing about that is if you're always looking for the sale, then the reality is you're always going to be disappointed.
Yeah.
Because statistically, I look at the best people in this business, and the best people in this business have probably a statistic, and they've never really looked at it, but they probably have a statistic of 10 presentations to 3 sales. It's probably the numbers. Okay?
Yeah.
Um, so I'm going, does that mean you've got to go out and do 10 presentations to get 3 sales? Yeah. And it means don't stop. I think that's important. The other bit is that when you are building relationships, you have to understand why are you really in this business? You're in this business to share true health. And true health is physical health, financial health, and mental. And if somebody doesn't want the true health, the physical health, then they may want the financial health. Or it may not be for them, but if you ask them about a next step, they may know somebody. And one of the things that we don't do is when they say no, we take that as a rejection rather than going, well, what they're really saying, no, it's not for me. But you go, would you mind helping me? And they go, well, how can I help you? And you go, would you help me share this? And they go, well, I don't really believe in it, so why would I share it? And you go, well, do you think that this is a good product? Do you think it could benefit somebody? Do you like the idea of true health? And they go, yeah. Do you know anybody at all that might be interested?
Yeah.
Rarely, when we get the no's, we don't ask those people. But the no's will become yeses if you ask enough times.
Oh no,
And,
pack the bags and run away.
there you go.
Sorry, I interrupted you there. Kim was asking a question. If there was one thing I should do every day, what is it? The one thing if I should do every day, what is it? Or she should do?
Okay, it's a great question. Um, and I suppose here's the real truth. I would probably, I would reverse the question and I would go, what is it you think is the one thing that you should do every day that's going to help you to build and grow your business? And what's the answer to that? Have you got good seed? If you believe you've got good seed, then keep sowing. So what's the one thing you should do every day? Sow the seed. And that can come, there isn't a, somebody goes, oh, give me this magic. Have you got this magic sales line that'll help me close the sale? Or have you got this, give me your PowerPoint presentation to recruit this person? You know, I don't. Nobody has it. Mr. O'Shea doesn't have it. But what does Mr. O'Shea do all the time? He's sowing seed. Man's 77 years of age. He is living proof that this works. I'm going, he's Japanese, he can't even speak English. I'm speaking English to English and I can't get my message across. He speaks friggin' Jap. I don't even know what he's saying and I'm buying into what he's doing. I'm going, what is that? But you know what I'm saying? There's an infectious enthusiasm. He's sowing seed and he doesn't know where it's going to land.
Yeah.
And he doesn't come out and go, oh, I think you'd be great. He goes, I think you can all be great. But you've got to sow seed. And I know that's a general answer. And I can go deeper you know, into skills that you need to learn in your presentation and talking to people, but you got to work on yourself. And if ultimately what you're doing is building a business, then this business is about true health. And if it's about true health, it's about relationships. It's about the relationships you build with people. So sow seed every day. Ask questions when you meet somebody, but make sure you ask the question. Make sure at least you talk to somebody. And sometimes that most difficult phone call that you don't want to make, the one person that you hold in high esteem, to ring and ask them. And I've done that, but I didn't do it till I was 3 years into the business. And they haven't bought the product, and they haven't come on board yet. But it hasn't affected my success. But that's what I mean. I mean, you've got to get out there and do something every day and make it a priority. People talk about time management and how do you manage your time. You can't manage time. What you can do is prioritize the things that you do. And if something is a priority, if going for a swim tomorrow morning is a priority for me, guess what? I go for a swim. If talking to somebody tomorrow about the opportunity is my priority, guess what will happen? I'll find someone to talk to about the opportunity. So, yeah, what's the one thing we should be doing? We should be sowing seed every day. I'm proud to do it. Because the next person that you could sow the seed with could be anybody. It could be Roland Hege. It could be, any of these people who have been, it could be a Sebastian Papa. It could be any of these people who have had incredible success in the business and all they're looking for is an opportunity. And by the way, they're also, firstly, there isn't the perfect presentation. And secondly, there isn't the perfect person. And thirdly, there isn't the perfect time. You just go, keep doing it, sowing the seed, don't prejudge, offer and be fair to everybody, give everybody the same support, and be non-judgmental. If it's for you, it'll be for you. If it's not today, maybe tomorrow. But I'm there to help you. It's a game of tennis. I'll hit the ball over the net and you hit the ball back to me. I'll do a little bit, you do a little bit, I'll do a little bit, you do a little bit, and I'll help you. And it's interesting what you were saying about an 18-month-old sale. I have a girl, Myra, in my business, and she got to 3A and she just stagnated, did nothing for 9 months. And I think she believed that was it, that was her level. And we got talking, and I met her for a cup of coffee then. I'd stayed in touch with her, but I met her for a cup of coffee and I went, "What is it you ultimately want?" And she said, "Look, I'm a nurse, I'm working nights. I don't like it, I really want to change, but I don't believe Kangan can give me what I want." And I went, "Well, show me what it is." And she sat down and we went through the financials and I went, "Well, you know what? If you got to the level of 4A and you got 3 sales a month, we could actually reduce your hours by half." And lo and behold, and that was 10 weeks ago, and lo and behold, she will be 4A. We did a presentation the weekend. She got to, I think she'll be 4A. She's got one more sale to get 4A. And I'm going, when she gets 4A, again, it's about staying in touch. They may be ready to move, but it is that game, it's that game that you can't move before they're ready to move. And that's the other part of our business. We're in the people business. You know, it's that bit of chess. You move, then I move, or I move, then you move. But that's part and parcel of what we do. But yeah, keep sowing the seed. Understand that you've got to work on this control tower. Who you believe you are is not actually who you are. You have a purpose in this life. And the question is, why not you? I'll show you people who haven't got a quarter, 1/10 of the talent some of the people in my organization have. And they're 6A2, 6A22. Why? Keep sowing the seed. And then that
They keep
you
showing
evolve, you
up.
change the person. Huh?
Mm. They keep showing up. They keep doing something. They keep working on that.
Yeah, now showing up, yeah, there's a difference between showing up and doing something. There are people who show up and show up and show up and never do anything. And you've got to sit down with them and go, "You don't mind me asking, why are you showing up?" "Well, I enjoy the crack or the free coffee or, the bit of a motivational chat." And I'm going, "That's fantastic. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
So what are you learning from it?" And, you got to engage with people. It is that bit of not just turning up. This is also a business and it won't happen unless you have a reason, a real reason, a real why as to why you're doing this.
Yeah.
And now you're getting into the realms that's a whole different conversation. People's why. But I'm just going for now, we've got good seed. And it's stood me in good stead to get me to where I am today. And I'll tell you the other thing it's done, it's helped me as a person to grow and to learn. Um, and life is good. I don't have 4 years out down the road. I don't have any financial worries. Thank God, multimillionaire. I'm not driving a Ferrari, but I don't worry about paying the bills. And trust me, that's a great place to be. Um, where you just don't worry about it. And the rewards in this company are incredible. I mean, sometimes I pinch myself with what the company do. There you go.
I know. Brilliant,
You
isn't
know.
it?
Yeah, it's
Great.
great. And there's no magic. Is there a magic little formula? I was
You
listening
don't have
to
magic
Colin and,
syrup.
and Tamaya. Yeah, but I was listening to Tamaya and Colin, and I'm going, what's the one ingredient Tamaya has?
Oh, she keeps talking. She keeps.
Enthusiasm and an
Yeah.
energy and enthusiasm about herself.
Yeah.
And you go, that becomes intoxicating.
Yeah.
That can have an impact. Great leaders um, create an energy and enthusiasm that people want to be part of. Where's your bus going and why should people get in your bus? You need to have a why.
Mm.
But yeah, that's getting into a whole philosophical conversation.
It
I'm
is.
still trying to figure out my why.
Yeah, but that's perfect. We'll be wrapping up very soon because we've been doing this for an
Okay, cool.
hour. But I have a few more questions. Just
Go.
probably very briefly, what's your mission with Enagic company, or what's your goal and vision? What's your mission?
Um, it's a good question because that's really, I suppose somebody's just asked me my why. So well done, whoever asked that question. Let me put it this way. This is a journey, and I've got to use the Himalaya mountains in northern Pakistan as an example. So this is a journey, and I started at the bottom, and I kind of worked my way up, and I got myself up to the first peak. And when you get yourself up to the first peak, you can see more of the world. And I went, wow, this is amazing. And I kind of came back down and went, look, 6A is good. Then I went 6A2, came back 6A22, it's great. Now I'm about to get to 6A23. So I'm going to get to a higher point in the mountain and I'm going to come back down and I'm going to go, guys, this is a great place to be. Come on, let's go on the journey. Um, so I think what's my goal and ambition? To bring as many people as I can on this journey and to show them that perhaps there is potential inside them that they haven't really realized. And I need to get comfortable with the fact that I can't try out of them, but what I can do is say, look, I've been to the top of the mountain. Here's the photographs. It's real. It's a lovely place. Come on, I kind of know the route. And by the way, there's no shortcuts. It's going to get cold. It's going to get tough. There's lots of things that we're going to need to do along the way, but I think I can show you a way. And if you stick with it, then we'll get there. It's not about how fast you get to the top. It's about getting there. So I think bringing more people on that journey and having this sounds quite cliched, changing people's lives or having an impact on people's lives. I mean, if that happens as a result of me bringing people on the journey, then isn't that a great thing? But I want to share with people what I've experienced, and I would love more people to come on that journey because I don't want to go there on my own. If that ends up taking me, if I end up becoming the first 6A28 in the world, so be it. If it's 6A25, I won't stop. The one thing that I know I'm going to be doing, I mean, one of my, I suppose, affirmations is that at 95 years of age, I will be walking across the stage at an Enagic event and I'll be looking down at the audience going, you can have this too.
Yeah.
So if I can help people along the way, I will. And you've almost got, it's almost got to be detached love. You've got to give it to them and then let them do what they want. Unfortunately, what I end up doing is going, now, I just gave you that. Why aren't you doing anything with it? And I need to just relax about that and go, I'll bring as many people as I can along the journey. I hope I'll make it as enjoyable as I can for them. I will use my best efforts to help them, and I hope they can do the same. And if that has an impact on one person or 10 people or 100 people, then I'll be a very happy person.
Perfect. And Colin is also asking, what was the biggest mistake that you've made?
Two. One was wanting it more for somebody than they wanted themselves. And that can be very frustrating. Very, very frustrating. I wanted it more than some people wanted it themselves, and I didn't get that early doors. And I suppose the other bit for me is that whole prejudging thing. Um, you spot somebody and you think they're going to be, the next best thing, the next Joe Louis or the next Muhammad Ali, and they end up, when they get into the ring, you go, poof, and they fall down, and you go, God, I thought you were going to be a world champion. And I've done that a number of times. And I've learned that the people who have stickability, the people who keep sowing the seed in this business are the people who are having success. And they don't even know that even though you go through huge challenges and there can be financial challenges in this business, if you go through a month and you haven't had a couple of sales, you better go and talk to somebody because if you continue with that, then it's a good chance you'll be out of the business. And I'm being real here because you're not making, you're not getting the financial return that you thought you were going to get as well. But I'm going, you've got to talk to somebody. So that bit of people not talking to you not picking up the phone when they're in trouble. You go, is that their problem or is that my problem? And sometimes you're not sure where that is. And I've made the mistake of picking up the phone to them. Um, and again, back to that bit of wanting it more than them. But, don't prejudge. God, do not prejudge. Biggest mistake I've probably made, one of the biggest errors I've made is prejudging.
Yeah. Yeah, I know, I've been there. And you touched a little bit on that just now answering this question. Jennifer Walsh also asked, could you talk a little bit about importance of customer care and support? So you touched a little bit on that as well.
Well, I tell you, I was, and I have been the worst in the world. No, I have sold the machine with great enthusiasm, gone back and showed them how to use it, and go, "You're grand now." Jennifer Walsh is a lady who made me aware that we need to be doing more for our customers, building relationships. It is, and she has taught me that it is the foundation to building a huge success, creating what she calls these raving fans. And
Yeah.
I'm a work in progress on this because she's working on me. And if she's there live, hi Jennifer, um, thank you very much for educating me on how important it is to help people understand the benefits of the product. Because if they don't understand the benefits of the product, how are they going to share it with anybody else?
Yeah.
You know, um, and we need to talk more about that as leaders in the business to go, what are we doing to look after our customers? Really look after them. And I'm very lucky that Jennifer was a customer first. And she made me aware that we should be doing more. I think it's critical. I think the future of our business, the foundation stone to the future of our business is relationships. And those relationships start with our customers.
Exactly.
That's fact. And we have a lot more to do on this. A lot. We've only scratched the surface. But I've seen the emails that have come in, and I've had customers who've come back as a result of. I think you've probably seen some of the emails, Agna, that Jennifer has sent out on my behalf, helping people clean the machine. And we've got some irate customers coming back going, I didn't know this and I didn't know that. And then you go and sort it for them, and they're delighted. So customer care and support is vital, absolutely vital. And we need to get better at it. And we're not really good at it as a company, and we're certainly not good at it as individuals. And it's something that we have to address more and more. It's all fine going building the business and sharing the opportunity, but if we look after our customers, they're the future of my business. Because all it takes is a customer who isn't happy to get online and go, oh, this is no good, I get no support, the machine doesn't work. Now, you may have a customer like that, but if you have 100 of your customers that get on and go, don't know what you're talking about, Agnes is a great girl, she's constantly looking after me, Jennifer has given me supplies, don't know what you're talking about, they're a great company, that's going to protect my business long term. So customers can take us down.
Yeah, but I don't know, you probably know that, but people will share the bad news like with 25 people and the good news with 3 people, on average, it's about that. So people tend to talk about the bad things way much more louder and out there, especially with online, and anything with the good things, not that often. Like I would definitely try to comment and, leave a review if I'm delighted and happy with something. But that's why we need to have those raving fans, and we need to look after our customers to make sure that the more happy of them.
And create community around them. Let them create their own community where they start to help each other. Then you've got this is ultimately where we want to get to. We want customers to come in with testimonials. We want customers to come in with their experience and their real, true. They're not made up. They're not sales pitches. They're not the company. There's customers saying, "Look, this was great, best product I bought, and thank you for looking after me, and thank you for sharing." I get emails from people now that go, "Thanks for telling me how to clean my machine. Thanks for telling me where I can go to get a filter. Thanks for telling me." And I go, "Whoa, they're the customers of the future, by the way."
Yes.
And I'm being brought on that journey, thankfully, and I understand it and I value it. But we need to do more. We need to do more.
Yeah, perfect. Well, we're going to have to finish off because it's 9:15. We had a very long chat, which I hope a lot of you enjoyed it. There was a lot of questions and comments there. And probably to go over just briefly, so your tips that you're suggesting to run a successful True Health Enagic business, you need to follow sincerity, consistency, enthusiasm, persistence, and patience. That's the things I've gathered from what we were talking here.
Yeah, and I suppose if you were to summarize, isn't that a bit what life is like?
It is,
You
yeah.
know, having enthusiasm for life, cut people a bit of slack. You can't want it for them more than they want it for themselves, and sometimes we do. Here's what I will say, honestly, sincerely, from the bottom of my heart. I joined this business at the age of 50. So I had all the reasons in the world to go, why would you start a new career at the age of 50? And I'm
Mm-hmm.
going, anybody out there, I don't care what your age is, I don't care where you're coming from. If you can buy this, they will reward you hundredfold. I really value that, and I really appreciate that. And I'm not about giving some great one-liners to people that they look at this and go, oh, wow, wasn't he great? What I'm trying to say is that it's inside, it's in everybody.
Yeah.
It's instilled in greatness is in everybody. But what you have to do is tap into it, and that control tower. And what overcomes that is an enthusiasm for what you're doing and a belief that no matter what happens, nobody's going to take me out. And I would say this: nobody will take me out of this business because of my
Mm.
conviction and my belief. And then for those that are out there, you know, we're going to have challenges. It's how you deal with them. It's having a laugh when somebody says no. It's thinking about, what somebody else said to you. You think you've got a bad story. You think you've gone and done a demo that's been difficult. Well, I tell you, you need to hear my one, you know. Um, and sharing those fun stories to make this more fun, to make this
Yeah.
journey more enjoyable, and be you, be sincere, and let's get to the bottom of the bet. Let's be the best Agna can be, and if I can help and encourage that, great. And if you can help me be the best Padraig I can be, I can't ask for anything more in life. That for me is going to be ultimate success. It's not about a Ferrari. That'll come. If I'm supposed to have a Ferrari, I'll have a Ferrari. I don't want a Ferrari, but I'm going, if that's what you want, it's there for you. But if
Yeah.
what you want is a future for your kids and something that you can hand on to the next generation and be proud to hand it on, environmentally, from a health perspective, appreciating customers, all of that, this one ticks every box. Every
Yeah.
box.
It's like Mr. O'Shea said in Germany as well. I think he said it. Feel the passion and compassion. I like that. Really stuck with me. I think that's brilliant, and that isn't it. Feel the
Yeah.
passion and compassion. Both
Well
both of
said.
them. Both of them are needed.
Well said. Well said.
Yeah.
And sorry, can I just say to you, Agna, and I know you've done a huge amount of work with Colin and Adeline, who are an incredible team. Um, but I just want to say to you, what you're sharing, and you're doing this out of care and compassion and a genuine interest and a belief. This is not about getting a reward for it. And for doing that, I mean, if you want an example, don't listen to me. Take a look at what Agnes is just doing here now. And that's somebody who's in the business who is no, but seriously, take the compliment. You're facilitating something that I couldn't do. So, and I appreciate that. And it's not about your rank. It's about the person that you are, and you're an incredible person. You deserve success. You're having success, and you will have a hell of a lot more. That's absolutely assured. You'll get it tenfold. So stick with it. Keep sowing the seeds, everybody. And Agna, thanks a million for doing this. I really, really appreciate it.
Thank you for the compliments. I really appreciate it as well. And well, to me, made my day, made my week last week when she said anyone who's in the 4A, 5%. Hold on, 5% will
95%.
get to the 4A. You're in the 5% when you're the 4A, and the 4A is 95% of them will reach to 6A. I'm like,
6A.
well, now that's perfect.
That's it.
So,
And then if you don't know how to get there, ask somebody to help you. There's always someone out there that'll help you.
yeah. And we have an amazing amount of big bunch of great people, and
Oh, yeah.
out
We're
there
very lucky. We're very lucky.
to reach out. Great. Well, thanks again for talking to us and sharing all your insights. As I said, you're a great inspiration and motivator for many, many. And I really appreciate your insights. It was a lovely conversation. So thank you for it.
Okay, thank you very much, and thanks to everybody who listened. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.